Hey, Bethany Finley. Welcome to Mr. Sober's science lesson. And I've got Rowan here with me to help me out. First of all, we're recording this. You might not be watching on Tuesday, but it's Terrific Tuesday. It's actually Thai Tuesday. We do this every week. Actually, Rowan's better about it than I am because now we haven't been in school. I haven't been doing it. But Rowan woke up this morning. He's like, I'm wearing a tie. I'm like, okay. So I got my tie out. This is my special science tie. So last week you did the textbook friction. And I'll show you a picture in a minute. Ronan and Evan did this as well. Um, I was actually very impressed with how strong Finley's muscles were to pull the two textbooks apart because we can do it, could we? Okay, today we're going to look at a few different types of friction. I'll do some hands-on stuff for you. So what you'll need, firstly, you'll need two pieces of, I said A4 paper, but if you've got smaller pieces, you can use smaller ones too. So we got a couple of small pieces. And then, I need to pull this. Okay. Oh, are you joining us? Where's your tie?
Go grab a tie.
Okay, I'll get Evelyn a tie for in a bit. Okay, so you'll need a shoe or a boot with a fabric pull. So this one has like this little fabric, that you pull on the back of your foot over your ankle. If you've got one that has this on, that's perfect. If not, I'll show you how you can figure it out. You will need a rubber band. The bigger, the thicker, the better. Something heavy to put in the shoe, so something that fits inside the shoe. So we've got like a jar of pasta sauce, something like that, or a big thing of peanut butter, whatever. And then something long that rolls. So we've got these, we call them markers, like felt tip pens. You can use, we've got like these big ones, or we've got little ones. Or if you, I'm sure you've probably got that. But if not, you've got like some AA batteries. Just grab like a handful of those. Okay, pause the video, go get your materials, and then we will do today's science lesson. Okay, hopefully you've got everything you need. So let's take a look. All right, so like I said, Rowan and Evelyn tried pulling apart the textbooks, and they couldn't do it. Actually, I'll try and send your mum a video of Mythbusters doing it, trying to pull it apart. And you will see that it's really, really tough to do. So they're pulling with all their might, and Charlotte here is just looking on like, what's going on? What are they doing? Obviously, if Charlotte was involved, it would have come apart because she's tough, isn't she? Okay. What you're going to do today is explore the different types of friction. And you may just think like, friction is what we talked about when you kind of slide two things and slide your hands and they rub together and they kind of warm up, or that textbook when you pulled it apart. But friction is it's a force. And we talked about force being a push or a pull. And it's anytime like two surfaces are kind of touching each other and they rub against each other. So you can see here on the top, there's like a pushing force and then there's friction. So it always goes like in the opposite direction. Why did your textbook, why were those books you were pulling apart, why couldn't you pull them very easily? That's because there was this, what's called sliding friction. And that's when two solids slide over each other. And if I was to zoom in on a textbook, it would look like this, or like two textbook pages. You can see it kind of looks like mountains and valleys. There are all these kind of peaks and then these little valleys. And that's what it looks like. If you zoomed in, I don't honestly know how far you'd have to zoom in, like maybe 100 times you'd start seeing it, maybe 1,000 times it'd look more like this. But that's why when you pull those textbooks apart, they actually, the mountains were catching on the other mountains and kind of interlocking into the valleys, and then it becomes really hard to like pull them apart. So that's what you were doing with the sliding friction. Okay, here's where you're going to get into some other types of friction. And this is where you'll need your materials. So Rowan's going to do this one. Rowan, grab. Oh, we're going to move. Hopefully you can see this all right. Okay, that's good. Okay, this is why I said if you can grab one of these boots or shoes that have the fabric pull, it works. Because then you can just tie your rubber band through that. If not, then you'd have to work some other way of like trying to attach it to the shoelaces and perhaps pull it the other way. But this works quite well. Okay, and then pull through there. Right. And then you'll, yep, let go of that one. Okay, so first we're going to look at actually sliding friction, which is when you pull enough that something moves. Okay, so pull, so to make it move.
And the last time that we did this, the string broke.
Yeah.
So
the rubber band broke. I had a nice thick rubber band and I lost it. So this one's a little bit thinner. Okay, so you can see, pull this. Okay, the length of the rubber band tells you how much force you are pulling with. Okay, what we're going to do now is show you something else. Take your heavy thing, ours is a jar of pasta sauce, and put it in there, and now pull. Okay, don't pull it all the way yet. Okay, so start pulling now. Okay, stop there. You can see Rowan had to really pull this really far before it started moving. Now this is called static friction. And static just means not moving. So if something's not moving, it's static. So you've got to overcome this static friction. That's just two things that are locked in place. Once you have overcome that, then it's going to start sliding. But as you can see, the longer Rowan's rubber band is, the more force he's pulling with. So right now, he's got a lot of force. I'm going to help him with a little push here to finally get it moving. So static friction is really hard to overcome, especially with something that's heavy. All right, let's make it easier on Rowan because he's tied out here. We're going to do rolling friction. So this is where you would grab your marker pens.
Or felt tip, or pens, double backtrace, anything that can roll.
Yeah, anything that if you put it on the ground, kind of rolls like this. Okay, so we're gonna make it a little bit easier. Let's put some right there, one there, one there, one there. What do you think? Can we tuck one at the back there? Okay. So now Rowan's gonna try it again. Okay, pull it. See, it moved a lot easier. No, it's now fallen off. But because we've got these things that roll, Rowan had to pull less, so there was less force required to overcome the static friction, the rolling friction that was kind of pulling this way. So rolling friction is a lot easier to overcome than static friction or the sliding friction. All right, we'll be done with this. And the last thing we're going to do is called fluid friction. And I know sometimes your daddy's been surfing, I think he's taking you with him too. But if you go like boogie boarding too, then you will take advantage of fluid friction. And this is when like a solid object like your surfboard or your boogie board moves through or kind of touches a fluid, which would usually be the water. Gases are also fluids. So air is a fluid. So you can see here the air that kind of goes over this airplane's wing or even under it, that's fluid too. And again, it's just like pretend this is the wing of the airplane. The air goes over it. As the air goes over it, the solid and the air kind of push against each other. So that's the friction. All right, to test this one, what we're going to do is take two pieces of paper, and Rowan, I'm going to have you crumple up yours. Okay, we're going to have a race. Let's stand by over here. Okay, and then we'll raise it to about there. We're going to race into the ground. When I say drop, drop it, okay? 1, 2, 3, drop. Ooh. Okay. Rowan definitely won that one. So I'm going to have you try that one yourself and see who wins. Scientists usually try and experiment like a few times. So try at least 3 times and see who wins each time. Okay, I tell you what, pause the video, try it, and then I'll explain what's going on. Okay, if you paused and tried it, you probably saw that every time, let's do it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, drop. Even if I cheated a little bit and had a head start there, I still lost. Every time, the ball is going to win. And here's why. When you think about it, we talked about how fluid friction can be a gas like air hitting a solid. Well, there's a lot more of this to hit than there is this, because there's only really a few bits. We call this surface area. You may have heard of that in math. Like there's just a little bit of surface area that the air can hit here. Whereas this one, I can hit everything. So there's going to be a lot more of this fluid friction. Okay, that's today's lesson. That was on different types of friction. What should we do tomorrow? Gravity? Should we have them do the drop one?
Yeah.
Okay. Tomorrow we'll do one. Try and get. We did 2 fizzy drinks bottles. If you have that, try and do that. Otherwise, maybe you've got some other empty containers. Plastic ones worked best. So maybe like milk bottles. If you've got empty ones in the recycling or something, or like plastic. I'm trying to think. Plastic jars. Maybe you've kept something in. Anyway, what you're going to do is try and get 2 that are the same size, and then we're going to do a little bit about gravity. All right, that's everything for today. Hope you're keeping well and not getting too bored at home. We had, I'll show you something. We had lots of snow this weekend, which everybody except Rowan was kind of bummed about. We were a little bit gutted because we thought we were done with snow. But Rowan loves snow, and actually we made the most of it. So here are some pictures of us sledding, and Charlotte loved it because she just got pulled up and down. And here's her and Rowan and Evelyn about to go from the top. And then you can tell they're having fun. And then after that all happened, Rowan and Evelyn pelted me with snowballs. But I got revenge, didn't I? A little bit. All right. Bye for now. Goodbye.
Bye. See you soon.